facing in this region is more than a highway that's unsustainable. And it's more than a port extension that threatens to destroy an ecosystem, destroy agricultural land, destroy the very viability of agriculture in Delta, and which is threatening to destroy a community and its quality of life. What we're facing is a threat to local jurisdiction, a threat to the legal structure of government in this province, and a threat to democracy, and we have known it in British Columbia. And with the exception of Rafe Mayer and Brian Lewis of the province, nobody in the media has yet picked up on all of the elements that are in place that create this threat to us. What we face is a conjunction of government and industry, where people who think they are right, unwittingly think they are right, have destroyed the balance between the economic and the public and the environment interest, where the public interest has been lost to the industrial provincial interest, and where the very words we use, sustainability and environment, have become redefined and are instruments now of economic value. We aren't faced with the potential abuse of power and system in this province. I believe personally that we are already there. This province has unwittingly become an oligarchy. It is frightening, it's dangerous, and it's a source of deep anger to a lot of us.
Yes, right
on. There has been deliberate, and we can now show it, collusion to evade the Canadian Environmental Assessment Act. They have colluded to split one of the largest projects in British Columbian history into individual components so as the act doesn't fail to do its justice. They've created a single project of the third berth, a single project of Terminal 2. They've involved the treaty in it, the Tawasin Treaty in this, where a settlement package is now guaranteed agricultural land will be used as a container facility. We have economic development of an Indian reserve is something we'd all like to see, but not when it damages our environment and our agricultural lands.
Hear, hear.
This project that wasn't examined under the CEA in its entirety involves 3 giant rail yards, one of which is on agricultural land. It involves the SFPR, which should not be excluded from the general port expansion itself. One of the other things that happened immediately after the government assumed power in the first election was an order in council that was slapped on Delta that prevented any municipal jurisdiction from being exercised on agricultural land. And I think now we see the long-term reality of that. The Gateway Council itself, which is a group of private industrial interests that have redefined the transportation corridors in this lower mainland with no reference to the people and their local governments.
Yes.
There's Bill 75, the Significant Project Streamlining Act, which overrides local zoning. And to show you how it was likely to be used, the SFPR is not in Delta's official community plan. And we suspect that Bill 75 will have its first invocation in Delta. Bill 11, where real estate developers wanted unrestricted opportunity to develop in the hinterland. Bill 11 overrides regional districts, it permits Cabinet to establish resort districts, and it forces those districts to be attached to the existing municipality. The riparian areas regulation. Real estate developers wanted unrestricted opportunity along the riparian areas. The province removed the provincial streamline protection guidelines. It removed the ability of the municipalities to enforce those. The developers have now become responsible for their own environmental assessments, and the province reviews those assessments. The port authorities convinced the province to put a cap on port taxes. The ferry authority convinced the province to permit a redefinition of what a terminal is. So the assessments on the terminals have now been re-examined and redefined. The Competition Council, with no local government or public involvement, is lobbying now to prepare for the province to put a cap on commercial and industrial properties in municipalities. TILMA, a secret provincial trade negotiation which permits any industry to attack municipal zoning and purchasing policies. Sorry, I see another Delta councilor, Jeannie Kanakis is here. Welcome, Jeannie. Delta's new container bylaw, which was an attempt to protect our own industrial tax base. It was recently overruled by Falcon as not being in the provincial interest. He had no legal authority to do that. The transmission lines, the high voltage transmission lines that are going through Delta. What have we got now with the very last opportunity for the public to try and create some logic to where these transmission lines go? We have the Attorney General of this province interfering to prevent the precautionary principle from being upheld by the Supreme Court of British Columbia. That is the biggest, in my opinion, the single biggest threat to the environment in this province and possibly this country. The aquaculture industry, where in spite of all the science that we can put in front of the province, are still allowed and supported by the province to settle in estuarine environments. The greenhouse industry, which is supported by the province to permit wood-fired boilers, in spite of those being illegal and having no permit within the GVRD jurisdiction, completely supported by the province because they're on agricultural land and because it's an industrial association that's doing the lobbying. And what is the common thread in all of this? It's the industrial influence and provincial concurrence. It's the support to override, support of the province to override municipal jurisdiction, the people, the law, the environment, and community. I don't want to sound radical, and I don't want to sound anti-business. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and I'm a conservative. I don't know how many of you might be in this room. But do I want responsible government? Yeah. You bet. Responsive government. I want an environment that sustains agriculture, the people living on it, and wildlife. That's all we want in this room. That's what we deserve, and it is what we are entitled to.